Oh, wow. Wee. Hello. Can you tell me if the volume is messy from like earlier? Or like people said I sounded like I was taking orders at McDonald's? Hey, Vamp. Hey, Bud. Hey, Becca. I don't know what was wrong with the volume stuff earlier, or the mic earlier, but apparently it sounded like I was taking orders at McDonald's instead of giving a reading. It could be just your good old fashioned Mercury retrograde fucking with me. That could very well have been the case. Sorry, it's a new Oracle deck. So, apparently we're going with the crow theme today. What was that? Fluff's back there making spooky sounds. So, I have qualms with this here deck, just a touch. This is a mass market release of a Kickstarter or an independent deck, and I really like the independent deck better, and I cannot find it anywhere. Of course I can't find it because they've mass market released it. Like, in the indie deck, like, or the independent deck, this is more transparent and you can see like the full like artwork that's behind this little cutoff, and it actually cuts off some key components that the indie deck shows, and that kind of bums me out. I want the indie version, and the indie version is more like urban. This is way more colorful. The other one is got like, it's more monotone. I don't know, it's more my style. So I saw it on like Macari that someone had just recently sold one, and I was really bummed over that. Any hooter. So how are we gonna do this? Okay, I got my spare backup clarifier. I got the Crow Tarot, and I got me some oracle cards. Just let's see how we want to do this today. How big of a spread we want to get into. How are you guys doing? Anywho, hopeful for positive things this week. That's good. Positivity is always a good thing. Um, the details for everything and anything is always in the description box below. So if you want to schedule personal readings or group readings or anything that involves me off of YouTube doing readings, you can do so by emailing me in the email address in the description box below. Don't message me on social media. I'll respond to you, but I'm not going to respond to you and actually book you or schedule you or anything like that. Also, um, it appears we've had a couple of discrepancies on me, how I communicate certain components of readings. Um, Number one, I'm nobody's mother on YouTube. Well, my daughters have YouTube channels, so I guess I'm somebody's mother on YouTube. But I'm not going to come and chase you down and look for you for your reading. If you have a reading scheduled, it's up to you, the person, to come and be like, I'm available for my reading. The doctor, stopped coming to the houses a long time ago, right? So if you schedule a reading with me, don't expect that I'm going to be like, okay, in 10 minutes, it's time for your reading. Are you available? Like, I'm not going to reach out to you. Like, I give you the information of where to be and how to receive your reading, and if you're not there, you're not there. Then that's not for me. I wait 10 minutes and I'm done. I consider it a no call, no show. If I have to reschedule for some reason, then I will let you know way in advance or as soon as I can, and I will personally reschedule you or let you know that we need to reschedule with no penalty to you whatsoever. If you have to reschedule, you're allowed to reschedule one time. After that, I consider it a fulfilled obligation because um I'm like I said, I block off my scheduled time that other people could be using to give you that priority. And if you're going to take advantage of it, then I have to put up a boundary for that for the sake of myself and for others that want readings. Okay, so you are allowed to reschedule one time. After that, there is a penalty to reschedule. And the third time, like I said, I consider it a wash. After that, I just don't let you reschedule. I'm like, I'm sorry, I've given you chances and I've blocked away my time, and now you're paying for my time instead of getting the service you wanted. So that's just how I work. I've always worked that way. The money you put down as a retainer, it is not a deposit, and therefore it is not refundable. Retainers are not refundable. Deposits are. Learn your verbiage. So that's how that works. It's always worked that way. If you're, and I explain that in the contract portion of when we book. I send you an email with all the information and all that and how the scheduling works prior to you hitting the pay button. And so if there's ever an issue, it's like, it's probably because you didn't read something thorough enough. And that's actually been overviewed by attorneys and all kinds of stuff so that I am in legal compliance to you, but I'm also within legal guarding of myself. So that's that. That's enough of that. And also, we have new Tarrowween merchandise. So if you look down in the description box below and you follow my Linktree link, you will see where it says merch. And it takes you to my Teespring, and you can see all the previous designs and everything, but you can also keep scrolling down all the way to the bottom. You'll see the new Tarrowween merchandise, which is cool. I did or designed a tarot card specifically for this year, and it's on the new merch. So it's on like a couple of shirts, a couple of hoodies, and a couple of mugs. So you can go and scoop that up for the Halloween time. And what else? Is there anything new? You, sir, do you have anything new? You have Fluffoween merch. So if you're a Fluffy fan, Exploring with Fluffy fan, he has his merch available as well. And his has him drawn in the fashion of, what is it, Family Guy? And then it's got like a little ghost sheet over it that my daughter actually did. She took one of his old designs and she Halloweenified it. And it was hilarious. When she had done. Matt, what have you done to yourself? Did you go back to the hospital? No, no, nobody say hi to him. This fool's pouring blood in my chat. You better get back to the hospital, bro. You go back to hospital and get yourself fixed. For those that don't know, he had an incident with a chainsaw, of which he was sitting in a chat going, "Hi, I'm just going to stitch myself." Pendejo. He's over there. I'm okay. No, no. It's your tooth this time. Okay. I thought it was the other ones. No, he just had an incident with the chainsaw. That's not my bad. He had an incident with the chainsaw a few days ago. He deserved to be chewed out for that. Yeah, you're gonna need to go rinse your mouth with some salt water for sure. Oh man, I love you, Matt, bro. I have to be mommy to, or the big sister. Or, I think I'm his little sister actually, but I think he's older than me. I'm not sure, but I have to keep him in check. Otherwise, he does weird shit, like tries to stitch himself up after being smacked with a chainsaw, like a legit chainsaw. Next, he's gonna have fallen off like Mount Everest and broken his back, and he's gonna try to like scoot himself home or something. Yep, I'm the little sis. Yeah, he's older than me. Darn. I'll be older than you one day. Like one day you'll cease to exist and I'll have gotten older than you. No, I'm just kidding. Anywho, uh as far as like tea and other things going on this week, that I don't think there is any. Is there any? Not that I know of. Um be nice to each other. Don't be mean and nasty. Oh, with the queen passing away, I've seen a lot of people talking. what we like to call the smack on social media. I do have my best friend is British, and you guys know her, Shani, and she is. I can give your spirit piggyback. I probably will too. She's British. She's from the UK. She's been in the United States soon to be a year this month. But, she's born and raised in the UK, tried and true. She's our little British Rose. And, the Queen's passing was very near and dear to her. She'd always been every day of her life under the monarch and under Queen Elizabeth's ruling. And when Queen Elizabeth died, it was very hard for her, and especially very hard for her mother. So, yes, Shani has been putting out videos and things that she's making in honor and observance of her queen. And some people just get so nasty when any type of figurehead dies. They want to get judgy right away. They want to start judging like automatically. Not everybody, but there's been some that she has shared with me the comments, and I was like, oh sis, these are just outward manifestations of inward inadequacies. Like these people just they don't know because they have never survived a day under the monarch, and they don't know what it means to the British culture and community for her, with her passing, and what this really truly means. So of course they're going to make comments and things because I hate to say it, but when nowadays, if an American figurehead passes away, the world stops for maybe a day or so, and then it just rolls on over. Like they're not an integral part of our being. Like we don't give them substance the way that you know people in the UK gave to their queen. I mean, come on, the woman was ruling the country for, and not just, the UK. I mean, we're talking Canada and everybody else under the monarch. She ruled that for over 70 years. Like, that's got to be respected at some point, but they're over there making comments about, dare I say, her opinion on Harry and his children and how she didn't love them and things like that. And I'm just like, do you know that? Do you know that for a fact? Then in a time of where people are possibly mourning, we can have a lot more respect for the death of somebody, whether or not we agree with their culture, stylistics, whether we agree with their lifestyle or anything like that. We can shut our mouths for just a brief moment. If you don't agree with it, then don't agree with it. But you can shut your damn mouth. That's just like when you go to a funeral for someone, you may have had grievance with them, but you don't sit there and bring that grievance to the damn funeral, all right? And trust me, I've gotten in many people's faces at funerals and said, apparently you have an issue with the person that's being laid to rest. And that's not my problem, nor is it the person being laid to rest problem. You need to come up with some solutions in your own mind. And until then, you can sit your ass in the corner and behave, or you can leave. And as a funeral director, I have said that many times. So, in my opinion, it's like if you have nothing nice to say over someone posting a simple video or a short or something like that, just be quiet. Click onward. Like, why are you sitting there being a cowboy, a keyboard cowboy, and saying how horrible she is and calling her a demon and all this other stuff when, I mean, you never met her a day in your life? Like, why? And, my best friend had met the queen several times, so she had every right to miss her and things like that. And her family celebrated the queen every birthday, every Christmas, every, she's, like I said, the queen's an integral part of many British homes. So we can have a lot more respect. So be considerate is what I dearly ask of people. You don't have to know of her. You don't have to share of British culture to just be respectful. Like, why? Like, why be nasty? I don't understand. And there's an abundance of trolls that, just want to upset people, and it probably wouldn't sting any other time, but when you're grieving, you know that it always hurts all the more. And I just say this as a blanket statement, not even just to the queen, but anybody that passes away, anybody of high profile. There's somebody's mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandmother, grandfather, child. You know, like I said, it's a lot easier and a lot more respectful to yourself, even and how you were raised to just shut your mouth and carry yourself out the door than to sit there and say, well, you know, this person's a giant POS and blah, blah, blah. It's rude. All right. Especially when somebody had just passed. The other thing that's rude. Um, oh, you do share the same birthday as the Queen. Congratulations, Big Susan. Or Susan Big, I'm sorry. That's an awesome. That's kind of awesome to say you share the birthday with the Queen. But the other thing is, and this is something that really impacted me and hurt me, and it's always it not really hurt me, but just upset me, and it's been upsetting to me for quite some time. These ITC spirit communicating paranormal blah blah people that as soon as someone's heart stops beating have got their fucking spirit box out saying they're talking to them. First off, the Queen had way better people to talk to than your nobody self, okay? She had her mother that she adored greatly that passed before her, and just most recently, her own spouse. Do you really think about 4 hours post mortem, her spirit went straight to your shitty little ITC device and said, you, of all the people in my nation, of all the people in my family, are the person I'm going to communicate through? When spirits first, come to being a spirit and release themselves from their energy source, which is their body, they don't communicate very well. And I think we can all agree on new spirits are very confused, and some of them they're not residual, they're not hanging around, they're going on to their next phase. um and they're not communicating with everybody. But if you have a pre-programmed ITC device that you upload voices of the person to and all this other nonsensical fake ass shit, and yeah, I think everybody knows who I'm talking about, you are a disgraceful person. You are disgusting. You are just trying to propagate off of somebody's passing, and it's unnecessary. As somebody who works in the funeral industry, I would be appalled if I was working with that family and I caught your crap on the internet. I would be appalled because, as somebody who does do a lot of work with, postmortem and the families of them and everything, it is my job and my honor to serve families. And what you do is not a service to families. Now, if somebody gives you permission to do it, that's different. If a family member says, hey, can you please try to reach out to my brother, my husband, whatever, fine. But if you're going to go and do it and just be like, oh, I'm going to, and they released the video within like hours. I kid you not, hours. They didn't even let the person get cold first. And they're releasing videos on the Queen. It's like, didn't your family, your parents teach you any manners or self-respect or anything? Like, that is somebody's grandmom. That is somebody's mother. And you're trying to gain, and not trying to, you did gain off of it because you're a monetized channel with views, and you've got some thirsty ass people in your audience that just suck that stuff up and really think you're communicating with these people. But you pre-program the voice into your ITC device, into your spirit box. You pre-program the voice. You've shown everybody that. So whatever comes through, of course it's going to sound like you're talking to them because it's their voice you've pre-programmed into it. And you're making people really think that you're something. You're making people really think that you have some outstanding power or ability when you don't. The only thing you have the ability on is to make this stuff. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll applaud you on making some propagandist item. But I don't buy your shit for 1 second. And I think what you do is extremely rude. I know you're probably never going to see this because you're too bougie to do that. And all you want to do is fight with other paranormalists online and sit there and say how you're a nice guy and so positive and full of love and light. But if you were, you wouldn't even be putting this stuff online. You would be working with people on an individual basis and not using it for clout and social gain. Just my opinion. But, that's what I think of you. And that's what I think of people like you. It's gross. Don't do it. If a spirit comes to you naturally without you pressuring it or anything like that, and appears on your devices, hey, that spirit all wants to communicate with you. And trust me, we've all done it in the paranormal field. If they come through, they come through. We can't control that, but we should never force, and we should never force a spirit that's only a few hours old and then use it for social gain. No, that's wrong. Sorry. So, hey, Ginger. A few do, but most not. Yeah. Hey, Royanna. How you doing, sis? Hey, Terry. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of people that force any type of supposed spirit interaction. It's gross. I don't agree with it. I'm never going to agree with it because I think it's horrible. As somebody who works with the dead on a daily basis, I think that shit is horrible. So that's great, sis. Love you. Yeah, and sometimes spirits come through that I don't expect, and Rebecca can remember we were hosting a spirit box session for the previous paranormal group I was a part of at one point back in Phoenix. And we were just doing a live stream and a little voice came through, and I didn't draw too much attention to it because I knew Rebecca could have been watching it. And I remember explained to her I was so sorry, but that I had to like explain to her like what had occurred, and she was like, no, I heard it too. And she was in tears because it's her son. And sometimes spirits hang on to us, like children's spirits will hang on to people that help with their preparations and stuff like that, and dressing them. And when Raiden had passed, I was his funeral director. That's his mom, Rebecca, in the chat. And when Raiden passed, I remember when I was preparing him for his funeral, I had put SpongeBob on and we listened to Baby Shark. And because these were all the things that, she had told me that he enjoyed. And so while I was making sure that he was getting ready, to see his family one more time, I played those, I talked to him and things like that. And that's how you build a bond with the spirit, and I kid you not, it was so beautiful going to work, to spend time with him, to spend time with Raiden, because I knew he was there. And I kept telling him, like, your mom is coming and stuff like that. And it's my job comes with perks and it comes with a lot of hurt. But those perks of being able to communicate to a youth spirit, you're okay. It's okay. We're going to get through this. Mommy's coming. You know, that was, and then having his mom come into the funeral home, she saw him first, she got to spend time with him before the funeral and before anybody was around. I made sure she came in and saw her son. And, I was like, here she is, and, even Rebecca had said it was painful because that was her baby. But her spending that time with him and seeing him, like, you could tell she was in those few moments, she just had a bond with him, that there was a mother son bond. And, I got to witness that. And, you know, she was just, that was her peace. And that's when you really see death in a different way. You really see the passing of someone in a different way. And that was remarkable and that was beautiful. And those, like I said, they're hurtful, but they're perks too, because you get to witness real life. You get to witness the reality of life and our cycles in life. But yeah, I can't respect anybody that would force it. Like, in the case of Raiden, I would have never forced him to come through on anything, because that's a child, or it's just a new spirit. So when I saw, like, that day that this particular YouTuber had, communicated with the queen. I mean, she'd only been dead like less than a day. She'd only been dead like 6 hours. And he's already got a video up and everything. And I'm like, you are just anything for a dime. Anything for a dime. Anything for whatever. And we can be better people than that. Even if the queen did come speak to you. Like, wouldn't that just be a personal thing? It wouldn't be, hey, let me sit there and talk to you so that you can make money off of. The queen would have never went for that. Let me tell you that much. She'd have been like, no. So, yeah. I'm not a caring person, just to people close to me. I love you too, Rihanna. For those that don't know, I've known Rihanna for, oh gosh, Rihanna, we've known each other for what, 11, 12 years? Yeah, we used to go to do a lot of Disneyland events together and stuff like that. And we all bonded and grew. We some of us outgrew that group, but we still bonded. And Royanna was always such a caring, loving person. Like when I was going through really hard times, she would reach out and stuff like that, and always has. And so here she is. She's still promoting and respecting and loving and being there and all that, which is just really awesome. But that's the tea I have. Is being a better person. Don't be discrediting someone's grief, and then obviously don't try to propagate off of any figurehead's death or any person that would you know and I mean, when I say that, I mean, don't do it off of their spirit. Like, that's just I think that the paranormal communities out there could do so much better than to start communicating with the deceased figureheads within 2 hours of their passing, because who knows when he filmed that, but it was out within like hours. It was just really nauseating. Anyway, so let's start with Aries. Let's get some people with some readings. So Aries. All right, you got your Seven of Swords. So get a few more action on there. These cards are really big. And the Magician. Okay. So there's an Aries out there that's actually working quite hard to make things happen. You're learning patience, but you're also learning how to control the winds, is I would say, is you're working hard, you're doing what you need to do, you're learning when to fight the battle, you're learning when to pick the battle. And because you're learning when to pick your battle, you're learning when to choose your where you need to apply your energy, you're actually able to make things happen more proficiently for you. And in that, you're respecting the process. You've got patience for things. You're this is somebody who's learning to calm their spirit, where they would normally be fearful and letting their mind take advantage of them. They're like, you know what, I got this. Like, don't worry. I know when I need to be picking up my sword and using it, and when I need to lay it down. I know when I need to let somebody win something because they think that they need it versus actually fighting the war. So that's what I'm seeing here. And then with that Magician card, because you're carrying forward that energy, you are definitely able to work with things a lot more sounder. You're learning how to balance yourself, and you're actually becoming extremely more productive. And with the Temperance being here, you're learning patience, you're learning the balancing, you're learning like everything's happening in proper timing and in proper, in proper amounts for me. I don't have to force anything. But let's go ahead and pull you an oracle card to kind of clarify those energies all the more. Wait, who needs to go to the hospital?
Ginger was catching up with Chat.
Oh, okay. Who's giving bullshit tonight?
Matt seen Texas Sean say something that kind of set off Matt, so he just put him in the timeout.
Who's Texas Sean?
No, he's come to your channel a couple times before.
Oh, okay.
But Matt seen something that he said, so he just deleted it and put him in for a timeout.
What did he say?
Not sure if it was directed towards you or not, but he said something about opportunist piece of garbage.
Oh, I think he was probably talking about those ITC having assholes that I was talking about. Those are opportunists that are taking advantage of people. I don't think he said anything bad. I don't think it was me he was talking to. He's been in my chat before. I think he was referring to my rant on people that go and start talking to spirits and yada yada yada. start uploading videos on them or claiming they're talking to spirits of figureheads and stuff like that. I just went on a whole rant about the queen. I think that's probably what he was referring to. I do not think he was referring to me. Um, so that was probably what that was. So, I mean, you can log in as me and you can unblock him or untime him out or anything. But no, Texas Sean's a good guy. He's a good guy. So I
Matt's just might have had a good day. He said it,
yeah,
so.
it's okay. I apologize, Texas. We do get a lot of we've had a lot of trolls lately, so it wasn't you, buddy. I'm so sorry. I hope you're still here. Don't
Matt
worry
was
about
right.
it. It
Matt,
happens, Matt. I know you're always looking out for my best interest, so it's okay. I know that people get yeah. No, we love you, buddy. It's okay. Like I said, it's been so crazy. It's been crazy. It's been crazy.
Matt, you're good, bro.
You're good. Don't worry about it, Matt. We love you. No hard feelings. We're good. So you have the Wrath card, number 54, the Wrath card. So this would be kind of to the tune of like the Tower card. So in great chaos, you are probably the calm storm. You are probably the person that's like, you know what, no, I know when to apply myself and when to take myself out of something. And so if you are experiencing great chaos, or there has been a lot of great chaos in your world of some sort, you're going to get through this and you're going to learn a very valuable lesson from it. So if that's what's been occurring and you're like, what do I do? Learn, kind of just value yourself, value your time, value what's occurring, and say, you know what, no, I don't have to fight every war for everybody. I can literally just, do me, and I can handle the things that have my name on it. I can handle my side of the street and let other things just go. If we're involved in too many places and in too many contexts, we tend to not focus on what is actually important. We are just too stretched, and so therefore things get even more chaotic. So that would be the message I have for you this week, Aries. And we're going to go ahead and move along to our wonderful Taurus gang. Hey, Wicked Bro, how's it going? I saw your messages earlier, but I was in a live stream, so I didn't respond to them. But I did see the videos and stuff. Wicked's another really awesome person. Always looking out for everybody. Such a good guy. But I know he's been super busy lately. He's got an awesome new job and all kinds of stuff. So he's been working his buns off. So when we do catch him in chats, we love saying hey to him. And it's always an honor to have him there. All right. Okay, Taurus. Let's see what messages we have for you for this week. Let's see what's coming through. Alrighty. Got the 9 of Swords, but it came up in reverse. So your anxieties are lessening. There's something that you've learned how to handle your anxieties. Because where normally things would keep you up late at night, they would keep your mind focused. You're learning where to apply yourself. You're learning what to do with your emotions, where to place them, who to give them to. You're learning that, not everybody's deserving of you, because you've got that Knight of Cups energy right there. Not everything deserves you, all right? And if you're in a situation where you are having sleepless nights and you're wondering what you mean to others, what your placements are, things like that, just remember, you know your value, you know your worth, even if other people don't. And this is a time where you really need to move yourself into a place where your love and your beauty and your light is appreciated in the utmost. And all of that other stuff you'll see will fade away, because when we're around people who are very parasitical with our energy, they will take, and you will give until you're really withered up. It's like, being in love with a vampire. A vampire doesn't know anything but to take life force because it doesn't have any of its own. So it has to take of you. And that will leave you in a very depleted state of mind and a state of being. That happens a lot in narcissistic relationships and things like that. And when I say relationships, I don't just mean romantic love. I'm talking friendships, family members, co-workers, things like that. but you also have the Seven of Wands in reverse. So, I think you're being cautious about what actions to take or when to take them. I think you're kind of just going forward. Like, you're like, I'm ready to just move on from people in general. And you're kind of wondering where your placements need to be with this energy. And that's okay. You don't have to be perfect right off the bat with where your energies need to go. You can literally just sit there and be like, you know what, as long as I'm moving away from the stuff that is very draining of me, I don't have to worry necessarily about what I do with the energy. Conserve it for you. Give it to those that, are very, very close to you, who you can trust and respect, that you've been trusting and respecting before. But, and sometimes, people that we trust and respect for a long duration can also fall into these previous categories. It happens. But, just conserve yourself, love yourself. Just be like, you know what, it is not my fault that these people can't understand and accept the value of another. And you can kind of baby yourself through it, love yourself through it, things like that. Sometimes these people can be like I said, they can be the closest to us, and it's very hurtful, when it's family members or longtime friendships or anything like that. Anything you have a long rooted relationship with, it can be all the more painful to unroot it, and really distance yourself from it. Am I telling you to completely walk away from them? I'm not doing that. I'm just telling you, you know what, at this time, that's probably not the best place for you. And with this curiosity card, like, in the case of curious crows, like, they always kind of peek around and they want to listen in on things, and that's probably not going to be the best benefit for you. So be careful with your curiosity, okay? Be careful about, people being like, have you heard? Like, involving yourself in gossip will probably be more hurtful to you than it is beneficial to you. So when somebody says, did you know blankety blank said this about you, just brush it off and say, you know what, if it wasn't said to my face, it doesn't involve me. That's all about them. They don't have to like me, and it's fine to know that they don't care for you. You can move on from them, but you don't need to know their opinion on you or a situation or anything, that they're just being nasty and chatty chat behind your back. You don't need to know about it. So kind of, remove yourself from that situation if that is indeed what is occurring for you, Taurus. All right. Also, if that is not completely the situation, now is a good time to satiate things that you are curious about. New hobbies, new things, taking yourself out of these previous concepts of where you were applying your energy and actually applying them to things that better benefit you. New hobbies, points of interest, things like that, things that you can satiate your mind, body, and spirit with. All righty. Those are some pretty good messages for good old Taurus. Hey, Flock, how's it going, hun? Next, we are on Gemini, and I just go straight down the line. I go down the order of the zodiac. So we start with Aries, we end with Pisces, and currently we are on Gemini. And if for some reason your reading does not resonate with you, that is okay. These are general readings for the collective, and they don't always resonate with everybody. If that is the case, check with your moon and rising signs, or even your Venus placement if you're looking for something that's more in the lines of like love or relationship or anything like that. So Tuesday also, while I'm shuffling this energy in and out, I will be doing a live on location. I have a tarot deck that is specifically for it. And if I could find it, because it's on bed somewhere. I don't know where it is. It might give away where the next live on location is. I will say it is in Hollywood. But if you can take a guess as to where it might be in Hollywood. It is not a theme park this time. I went and I came home because I was going to do a live on location last week when I did the para challenge. When Fluff went to the Manson Wave Cave, when he went to Swan Ranch, and I was supposed to go to Griffith Park, but I got was unable to do it because there was a group of rowdy ass teenagers over there like throwing a big ass party, and yeah, go me. So I ended up doing it at the Yuma Territorial Prison's cemetery where the prisoners are buried, which was kind of cool. And then it was windy as hell and my candle kept blowing out, and so I couldn't use my candle. But this week, we're going back up to LA. We're going to Hollywood. We're going to be doing it at the Hollywood Biltmore, which was the last place that the Black Dahlia was seen. But that is not the place I'm talking about. I will be. Are you playing with Fart? Yeah, he's Fluff's playing with his kitten. Um, and I say his because he adopted him. But I will be doing a live on location for you guys at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. So be looking forward to that on hopefully Tuesday. If not, it will be on Wednesday. But that one will be fun where I just do. I haven't decided like the type of readings I'm gonna do. I might just like do whoever's in the chat. I might just do like some quick readings for people. I might do some like all signs readings. I might just chat and hang out. I think I'm gonna do like readings for people in the chat on that one. I think that's what I'm itching towards. So that would probably be a good one if somebody wants a little bit more of a personal reading. They're not too in depth, you know. I don't get them too in depth, and if I see certain information that like I don't think should be announced over a live stream, I don't do it. I'll email it to you or I'll reach out to you and be like, hey, I did notice this, so be wary of that, you know. But those will be a fun one. Um, hey, Deanna sis and Plevis. He's out doing DoorDash, so that's why he's not here. But Nubs is never here, so you're fine. Nubs has been ignoring my live streams for the whole month, and I think me and him have broken up, like as friends, because of this. I'm just kidding, we have not, but he doesn't love me like that. He doesn't show up to my lives anymore. Anyway, Gemini. Page of Cups. So new energy going forward, new offers, but it's not matured. It's just kind of like, that's an idea, you know? And then you have the Hierophant card, the Seven of Wands in the upright. Okay. So something new and flashy and shiny happening. Something that's rooted in, the possibilities and prospect. Like this one's a really cool card that kind of denotes like marriage. Like most people are like, how's the Hierophant, like why do people say it as a marriage card? And it's because it's literally like a spiritual leader. Some people call it the Pope card. And it denounces more, it's in the realm of, or denotes uh morals and unifications and things like that, and it has rooting in promotion of marriage within when in context of other cards. So this could be somebody who's looking to go from engagement to marriage, maybe is looking to do a proposal or hoping a proposal might be coming. This definitely gives off that energy because it is a Page of Cups. So it's like, should I, like, am I considering this? Like, am I growing this? And it looks like here from the Seven of Wands that is an action that is to be considered in this. But I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit more clarity on that Hierophant card just because I don't like saying like, oh, it's probably a marriage proposal coming through. And it's like, that's not what they were. That's not what they had in mind. There's probably going to be a poor Gemini out there that's like, yeah, Jen straight up lied to me. I'm just the messenger. All right, so let's clarify this Hierophant card. Okay, so temperance. All right, so patience. Somebody might be wanting to hop into the idea of being engaged, and it's just like not the best timing. And that's what I'm getting for this is somebody wants to rush into marriage. Like somebody's like, I want to do this now. Like, and they haven't even been together with this person very long. Is where, yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting is, like they're letting a lot of their insecurities talk versus, actual tangible commitment and things like that. There is a lot of energy that would normally be dominating and, manipulating and making you feel a specific way. It's really not that, but it's like, oh, there's a lot of insecurities is what I'm gaining at here. And you're feeling like this would set you free from those, that you would have, if you were to be married or you were to secure this, then, it would like lock this energy in and you wouldn't be, somebody who is unworthy of love. And, as much as you're like, I'll be patient, but I'll be patient for this one person. Not necessarily like, yes, you're getting a crow reading. Not necessarily like, the most natural energy. It's this is a little bit more forced than it is like natural organic energy towards this commitment or wanting of this commitment. All right, or someone may feel like they're being forced into some type of marriage. There is going to be a Gemini out there that's like, no, I'm not really totally vibing with this idea, but I feel like I'm being forced into this. I feel like it could be family, it could be your lover. You're being forced into making a commitment of some sort that, whether it's marriage or otherwise, that maybe you feel like you're not entirely ready for. All right. And you have the teamwork card. So this is definitely a time, especially with all of the temperance energy and stuff like that, is a good time to work on compatibility. If you're wanting to ease into the idea of solidifying a relationship or anything like that, or even if this is something having to do with actual work, a job, or anything like that, contractual or otherwise, make sure that the people that you're locking yourself into this commitment with actually know how to work with you. Because there are times that we go through stuff in our life that we are kind of like, I'm not at my best, I'm not at my normal self. Like you're suffering some sort. And if the person you're with, the people you're with cannot suffer well with you, like they don't know how to be there for you in those times, they don't know what to do for you, things like that, there's still some maturity that needs to grow in that component. It would be a good time for you to consider, maybe counseling of some sort, couples counseling, things like that, how to communicate, how to work together in rough instances, things like that. And I say this to you because I think a lot of us wish we had had those attributes with us when we got into marriages and commitments, because anybody can do well with somebody when things are going good. When everybody's heightened with emotions and love, everything is great, right? But then when things flip flop and change, it's like, hmm, you know, what do I do? Like, I wasn't prepared for this, and this is the type of energy is what I'm talking about, learning that even if you aren't prepared, what to do in order to advance yourselves past this situation or to work with this energy. So there's still a person out there that, even though you want to evolve into these more maturing commitments, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. So dare I say, think twice, not so much about the person or anything, but just why you're wanting to do it. Hopefully that makes sense. Alrighty, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to our Cancer. Hey Lynn, how's it going, hon? I got this new wax melt warmer. It's in the shape of a skull, and it's like a hematite skull. It's like that really cool, like gunmetal color. And I put in one of my like Scentsy pods in it, and so my whole house smells like pumpkin spice. I got the Haunted Mansion one from like the rollout 2 years ago or a year ago, and like, oh, it smells like pumpkin spice. Like that's all I can smell right now. That's why my nose kind of is sounding a little nasally. Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. Messages for Cancer. Ooh, bright new beginnings right off the bat with the Sun card. That's awesome. Cancer has had a lot of like, I dare say stagnant energies. It's not like very vanilla readings. They're not bad. They're not horrible. They're just like, okay, now what? So that's good. Bright new beginnings. I like that for Cancer. Okay. So you got a decision to make about something, and I think you have made the decision. And even though you're going forward with this Page of Pentacles energy here, and it's very juvenile, it's, pages are, the lower form of something new or the new energy. Like they're not as mature as, like, kings and knights and queens. They're just like the beginning of something. It's kind of like the learning how to walk type aspect of that energy. I can make myself. Yeah, I know, right? But they're so good. Like, the problem with Sensi, okay, not to backslide right here, but the problem with Sensi is because the darn things work so well. That's the problem. Like, they have an amazing throw. They make the room smell really good, okay? As to where you go to Walmart and you buy the little cheapos and they last for like 2 hours, right? Like, they start faint, the scent starts fading. Not with damn Sensi ones. They like, but they're so expensive. Like, when the Disney stuff comes out, I'm always like, ooh, I want this one. And then it's like, oh, bang, $50. And I'm like, oh, no, never mind. So, like, I still have those from like a year ago. And I'm like, yeah, I get to use them. And now I'm like, whoa, they're stronger. I think I need to, like, cut that one in. Like, I only put one cube, but I think I need to cut it in half. Because it sure is strong. But then again, the office is not that big, so. But that's where, like, the kitties are and stuff like that, so I have to be careful. Luck. What?
Lynn said she bought some of your merch.
You did? Lynn! I sent out a message about merch. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Lynn, you're the best. I hope you enjoy it. I have, like, one of my hoodies, and I know I need to get some more stuff, but, like, just with Teespring, like, if you get a hoodie, and I will tell this to anybody, be very careful. Like, what I would do when I get it in is I would put, like, a piece of, like, parchment paper and really iron it down, and then I would only, like, ever hand wash that stuff, because for whatever reason on the hoodies it seems like the and it's not on all of them. I guess it depends on which printer they use, but sometimes that stuff can, like, start having, like, a fade to it, and it'll, like, come up a little bit. It happened really bad on one hoodie, and then, like, on the other one it wasn't bad at all. But I would just kind of, like, repress it. Like, that's my opinion. But gently. Don't, like, sit there with high heat. And then obviously wash inside out. But I would even go as far as to, like, hand wash it, because, like, one of my favorite ones that got messed up, and I was pissed off, and, like, Teespring is kind of an ass about doing returns. So that's what I would do if you got a hoodie or anything like that. I have some of the t-shirts, they're perfect. They don't do really the fade, but some of the other ones I've been like, ugh. But luck. So your luck changing is what I'm seeing. Starting, like, you've got a new opportunity coming your way, Cancer. Something just started, something big and amazing and beautiful. You could have gotten a new job. You could have had a new baby coming in. You've got, this could be a new marriage, like this big monumental energy. This, like, oh my God, I'm like singing zippity doo dah out of my ass type energy. Just so much excitement. But you have to you're making a judgment call on something, or a choice on something. And I think you're choosing to go forward with something new, even though you're like, I feel like a duck learning to walk here with this, but you know what? It's fine. Because luck's coming into play, and luck is definitely on your side, and it's going to walk you through this. Like, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for you. So if it hasn't shown up yet, it will be coming. And when it does, just, you may not even recognize it as this big opportunity just yet. It may come, a beautiful thing in a small package, that type of energy. So don't discredit anything, okay, Cancer? Just really make sure that you're, as things show up in your world, if you're like, if it's something that promotes like a change, and you're like, yeah, I want to do it, it could be the opportunity of your lifetime, is all I'm trying to say here. Alrighty. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Cancer. Okay. You did purchase the white hoodie. Okay, I like I said, I would just lay down some parchment paper and kind of go over it with the iron, and then just kind of wash them by hand. At least the first few, like, times you wash it. Because, like, I think sometimes they're whatever printer ink they have, and it's not on every hoodie. I will say that it has not been on every one of my hoodies, but I had encountered it on, like, one, and then it was not as bad on one of the other ones. So just, like, I think if I had pressed the ink better, Like if I had like pressed their ink pattern down a little bit better by doing that, I think it would have never had the issue that it had. But that would just be my suggestion of it. Oh. So you got a tons of amazing shit happening, Rebecca. So you're already making things. You've already put that energy into play. So yeah, sis. I think you know what? It's little things that are gonna come together for a huge opportunity. And you know what? Luck's on your side with it. So just keep manifesting. Just give it to God because you know that He's gonna take care of you through and tried and true. So it's gonna be awesome for you. That's all amazing energy. And you know what? For as much as you've been through, sis, it's about time. It's about time for all that stuff to come into fruition for you. You've definitely paid your dividends. I will say that. Alrighty, so we're gonna move along to our wonderful Leos. Okay. That one was like, I want to play. Queen of Wands, but in the reverse. Okay, so someone's just not feeling their usual self. Three of Wands. All right. And then the King of Wands. Okay. So two stories here. Two stories for this section here. So this could be a Leo that is just like, I'm not feeling good about myself, but I'm going to fake it till I make it type energy. First story. Because going forward into the future, you're like, even though I'm not feeling my traditional self right now, I'm not feeling as glamorous and put together, and I'm not everything that maybe you're out of shape, maybe you are just not feeling your natural, amazing, beautiful self, you know but going forward into the future prospects, because you're like, I'm just going to deep dive into the future of this, and I'm going to fake it till I make it, because you will make it, you will come back, you will bounce back. This could also be a Leo that is like having issues in a relationship with somebody, probably on a commonality level um of respect and nurturing. So this could be a marriage or anything like that, where somebody is more of a contemporary to you, where you're like, I'm not feeling going into the future with this. I'm not, how do I go into the future with this energy? Like there is some friction and confusion. All right, so those are the two stories that I'm seeing right here. But let's go ahead and get some clarifiers just to kind of bridge the gap. So let me give this a shuffle for you. And I love how it's all these lions that are on here, right? Perfect for Leo. So let me just clarify that Queen of Wands. Why the Queen of Wands for Leo? You're not feeling like you're working together with something. Something's not driving together. Three of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Queen of Wands in the reverse, again, you're just not feeling good in something. You're not feeling like people are valuing you in your work. You're not feeling valued. You're feeling discarded and left behind. One more for this Queen of Wands. And you really want to come out of this. Like, I think you want to move on from it, whether it's moving on into something else that does value you, or moving forward from the energy that has made you feel inadequate, whether that's in a partnership or maybe just you yourself, okay? That's what I'm seeing from this, most definitely, Leo. It was one, it was my Tarot and Tea one. Like my regular emblem. Did you tell her that? Okay. Yeah, it was just one of my regular emblems, and it just, you could kind of see like the separating of it, like little areas where it would like kind of peel up, you know what I mean? And that bothered me. So it kind of looks a little vintage now, in other words, but I, like I said, I had other ones that didn't do that, but that one did. And I had another friend that complained about something similar with that. It might have been, and this happened like last year, so they might have changed up their printing since then. But if, in my opinion, I would just kind of I would seal that ink down before I like washed it or anything. But I also just learned to hand wash things like that came because I have my Omar Gosh T-shirt. I wear that thing all the time, and it's from Teespring, and it's like it's like from top to bottom like artwork, and it doesn't nothing bad, no fading, no nothing. I only encountered it on the hoodies, but it also was last year, so they may have changed it up since then. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's just like it wasn't like a solid image like when I first got it, if that makes sense. So let me get your okay self interest. So this is what I'm saying is like investing in oneself, making yourself the priority. And I am seeing that qualify in both those situations where coming out of something, a relationship of some sort where you may have felt no value or lack of value, and putting yourself into a place going forward where you will find that value, that person, people, it's instances that do value you. So that's what I'm seeing is to make yourself the key component and go forward with that energy. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Leo. And hang on one sec. I'm going to blow that out before I put fire all over me. Just hand me that one real quick. I had him go pull it out of the closet. See if I can throw it on here. Put it on my desk here. And show you what ooh, it smells good. See what I mean by like it kind of starts getting this like little vintagey like it has like this weird, and ignore that was a stain of some sort, but it starts kind of having this little flare to it. And I can see a little spot where it wants to try to come up, but like I said, if you kind of just press it, does that make sense? Yeah, I'm a messy person. I think that was like I don't remember, but it ended up staining my hoodie. I could probably get it out with like a elote bar, but it kind of does that a little bit. It'll kind of lift. So if you were to press it with like put some parchment paper down or anything like that, and then kind of iron it, it would probably not have that look. That's what I was trying to reference. But there was one that was really bad. And it wasn't like of my merch, it was somebody else's merch. And that one they said was just like an accident, like they went through a different type of printer. But see what I mean? Like it totally flaked. Like I could peel that off. But that was the one that they told me, they went through a bad printer or whatever. And it looks vintagey, like a little bit more than I would be comfortable with. But the cartoon picture one, yeah, that one prints out well. It was just that second one that I had issues with, but that one was from a while back, and I think they aren't using that style anymore. But I didn't notice a little bit of like the um, vintagey look around mine, but it wasn't as bad. It was not as bad. Hey Jenny, how's it going, sis? But yeah, that's what I meant with like the merch on some of them, and some people's stuff prints beautifully. Like I said, the most recent thing I bought from Teespring was an Oh My Gosh T-shirt, and we just got that like not that long ago, a couple months ago, and I've worn that thing like at least a dozen times, and it's been fine. So hopefully they've alleviated that problem, but I would repress it down. That's just like I think for my own precaution, but nothing too hot. I wouldn't want to like burn it or anything. I wouldn't suggest that. What on earth did you do now? You dropped your phone. Alrighty, so moving from the Leos on to Virgo. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. Yeah, Fluff dropped his phone into like one of the cat dishes, it sounded like. He had to go into the back closet to pull out some because it's not hoodie weather yet. So all of our hoodies are like basically in the storage closet because we just don't wear them. And it'll probably not be until like what? No, it won't be that long. No, we're used to like sub-zero temperatures. Like I will freeze. Will be like, it's not even cold, and I'm like, yes, it is. Because it's an ongoing joke between me and him, where there was one night when he like, you weren't even here that long, and he had the AC on so freaking cold that it woke me up how cold I was, and I was under and everything, and he's like a little mini oven, and so laying next to him with my down comforter on, I was still cold. And I was like, I'm freezing. Turn off the air. And he was like he was like mumbling like he didn't want to do it. And I was like, fine. This is why I can't go to Massachusetts because you'll just let me freeze to death. And he's like, he got pissed off and he's like, it's not even that cold. And he had to get up and turn the air off. It was like forever our ongoing joke of like, when I say I'm freezing, he's like, it's not even that cold. All right, so Two of Wands. So Two of Wands is definitely like moving forward into the future. And you're right now, Virgo, you're at a standstill with something. There might even be like a commitment that you're involved in that is kind of at a stalemate. It's not advancing in the way that you were anticipating. I think by this time you thought that more would have occurred in this relationship or there would be a lot more forward movement. All right, so there's probably a reason for that with the Nine of Pentacles. Or I'm sorry, the Eight of Pentacles. Is it an 8 or a 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's right. It's 9. Nine of Pentacles. I could have just looked at that and told you. But the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, that's like your efforts come, like that's one step away from a 10. So it's like, your efforts are being put into this, and working well and everything's jiving well. So it's like, you're working hard, but the return's not there. Because right here it would be your 10. And it is going into the line of succession. So it's advancing, but it's just not advancing the way you want it to. You're like, I'm putting in so much and I'm not getting, like, this could be a Virgo that's like, I work so hard and yet I'm not caught up on bills. I'm working so much on something and yet it's not happening the way I want it to. And I'm trying to create this new life and things like that. Or I'm trying to go on this new endeavor and it's just not coming into fruition. Yeah, we don't get weather, hoodie weather till, yeah, it's about November, but it really depends on if it becomes stormy. Like if we get rain, then yeah, you're going to probably have some wind and you'll want your hoodie. But, it's usually like December where it starts to get that chill in the air and stuff like that. But for sure, like January, we're in full blown season. But it's never jacket weather here. It's always hoodie. We'll say that much. Yeah, I used to be a polar bear. Now I'm like, I don't know. My body changed. So weird. So weird. You guys and your like ability to like, you guys need Arctic temperatures before you guys will even be considerably like, oh, this is nice. But then Matt lives in freaking Texas, so I mean, he never catches a break unless it was that one, what was it, like 2 years ago when you guys had like the ultimate freeze come through and your like pipes busted and everything. Ugh, I am not looking forward to menopause. I can barely regulate stuff now. Like, much less when I don't have the hormones to do it. Ugh. Ooh, ooh, there's two. Self-interest and distance. Okay. So, at a time when you feel distant from people, places, your dreams, ambitions, you need to rely in your self-worth, okay? You need to know that what you are putting into there is good enough And you need to value yourself in this, because it's very hard, it's very easy to lose yourself when you're in that rat race or the grind, or as people like to say it, I'm grinding. It's very easy to lose focus of other things. Like you will so hyper focus on one thing or only a couple things that everything else just kind of crumbles around it. And that can be very difficult to deal with. Okay, that can be very difficult to focus on what is an overall concept. So you just have to know that even though the world around you is not reflecting what you're putting into it, that you need to remember why you're doing it, and kind of take a step back from others' perceptions and other egotistical outlets to this, where you're like, okay, I'm not seeing the fruition, I'm not seeing the benefits of it. It's like sometimes we have to disassociate ourselves or distance ourselves from things that make us feel less of worth. Okay, and sometimes that's the main thing, is our mind, our mental process on it. So that's what I got for you, Virgo. And next is our Libra gang. Wow. My feet get cold. Nah, my whole body gets cold. And then, like, but see, when I get cold, like, cold sits on my skin weird now. And it's like, I just don't feel comfortable. I feel like it hurts. But, I think I credit that towards having to deal with putting bodies in freezers a lot. In like cold storage and stuff, not to sound morbid, but like being in and out of freezers so often. I think that's kind of when I noticed like my sensitivities to the cold more, because going in them and then coming out of them, and then it's hot, like that I really hate. I hate like going from extreme weathers to another within like minutes of itself. So I could never work in like a cold packing plant or anything like that. Like places where they have to have like extreme refrigerations and stuff like that, like for long periods, like that would kill. All right, Libra. Five of Pentacles. Okay. Ace of Cups. So you're working towards something new. Something new's coming in. And you're working towards it, but it's coming in. If it ain't there already, it's coming in. And something that's emotional. But it's, okay, with the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Swords in reverse can sometimes mean that somebody is lying, whether it's to yourself or the other person is lying. So what I see right here, if this is a reflection of oneself, the emotional track you're on is like you're manipulating yourself, or you're lying to yourself about the way you feel about something. All right? Or somebody could be doing that in the reverse. They could be lying to you about the way they feel about you, whether, loving you or not loving you. But let's clarify that, because two aces, and, one of them is a positive and one of them is, deemingly a negative. I love my little mini decks. They help me out so much. So let me clarify this Ace of Cups. What is the Ace of Cups? So relieving of something that is burdening. Physical demanding burdens that are alleviating. So this may be new love. Eight of Pentacles. This could be a new job that would be easier. And then there's the Ace of Wands, okay? So whatever this is comes in fast. It is a fast thing, and it's almost like you need to decide on it right away. I'm wondering if this is you, like, psyching yourself out of it and making Seven of Wands in reverse, like not wanting to conflict. And 10 of Cups. This could also be you learning the truth about something, even though it is in reverse. And Okay, so what I think this is, like I said, this is likely you lying to yourself or hoping for something so, but you kind of hoping for something so badly, but you're kind of like, yeah, I see this as being, the best thing for me, the most amazing thing for me, but you don't quite have all the information. And it ends up being something that is a lot more strenuous than it is beneficial. It ends up being quite the opposite. Alrighty. So let me go ahead and pull you an oracle card to see if that kind of gives us a clearer energy. Exposed. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. So, like, remember I said learning, you might be learning the truth in something. So, where somebody was lying, you're learning the truth. And maybe because this was so new to begin with, it might not hurt as bad. And that's probably why you're like, well, I'm so thank God I didn't invest completely in it. But it does free you to understand something. Like in freeing and learning, in learning what had happened in the exposure, you still have that 10 of Cups energy where you're like, you know what, I'm good either way. I didn't need this. All right. So you don't need external love because I think you're pretty good on your own with your own internal love. Like I think you're in a good place. Um I think you're in a good place, Libra, that you're stronger and more mature than somebody being able to pull the wool over your eyes. Okay? You're a hard worker and that was very well shown. Like, somebody telling you like, "Oh, it's going to be so great. It's, you're never going to have to worry. They're trying to this situation, whether it's romance, whether it's job, whatever the situation is trying to sweep you off your feet. And you were smarter than that. You were like, yeah, no, I don't buy that shit. I don't buy that you're going to just fucking do everything for me. Because, why would anybody, right? And then you kind of find out this could be somebody that if it was a relationship situation, they could have had another relationship behind your back. Because this could easily be a manipulative relationship. This is a false relationship. This could be like if you were with this person, they were double dipping. And that's what I see from that. Okay. Okay, Libra. Moving along to our Scorpios. Scorpio, 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 Scorpio. Alrighty. Messages for Scorpio. Knight of Wands in the reverse. So something's lost its momentum here. Alright. You're not going towards something that you were once thinking you needed to go towards. I got you. You're like, you know what? I'm no longer going towards, like, this is the type of energy of, like, I was once upon a time chasing somebody else's dream. It wasn't mine. It was actually, like, hindering me instead of being helpful towards me. Like, what you thought was what you wanted, you found out it was not, okay? And when you stop chasing that dream or that component of something that isn't yours, you find out that you're one badass bitch, or, well, and a bitch could be a man or a woman, and you're better than that. Like, you find your worth in no longer chasing after something that wasn't yours to begin with. All right, so that is definitely what I'm seeing from there. Am I back? Am I back? Sorry, guys. Been having weird internet issues. Are we back? Okay. So we'll start again. So what I'm seeing here is you're no longer chasing things that do not belong to you. They're not in your path. They're not in your alignment. And once you realize that, you know what, you almost feel like as you're chasing this other person's dream, like things aren't manifesting the way you want them to. And why is that? Because it's not meant for you. When you stop doing that, you find your self-worth, you find your beautification, you find value in you once again. So Right now, if you're chasing something that seems like it's like a dead dog and it's not going anywhere, it's just you're trying to beat a dead dog into existence. It's like everything I give to this, it's just like I see no movement, and it's probably because it's not yours to be had. It's definitely not something that is working with you. It's not vibing your energy, so it might be a good idea to move on from it and see where you can better apply yourself. So let's go ahead and grab up your oracle card and balance. Yes. So if we're going to be chasing after stuff that isn't good for us, guess what? We're all off kilter. We're all off balance. So paying attention to the things that are good for us, that nurture us, and that comes from ourselves first. And finding balance in things. Don't chase after stuff and give it everything you've got if it gives you nothing back, if it gives you no satisfaction, no fulfillment or anything like that. Why would you keep letting it, be a parasite to your life? You got to sometimes take a step back and say, look, I can help this situation on my terms. I can give to the situation on my terms, or I can give what I have available. And if there is nothing that day, then there's nothing to give, and there's nothing wrong with that. So maintain you. This is a maintenance call to action here, Scorpio. You got to maintain you first. All right. Don't try to overextend at this time. It's not going to benefit you. Right now is a good time learning balance mentally, but also with finance and things like that, and spiritually and emotionally, finding things all within proper balance. Balance is a huge thing for you right now, Scorpio. Alrighty. Hey, are you awake? You're supposed to be watching the chat, and it froze, and you didn't even tell me.
It didn't freeze for me.
No, it didn't freeze for you. You're down there sleeping. Alrighty. So, Sagittarius. There was a glitch in the matrix. Yeah, there sure was. But it is also wonderful Mercury retrograde, which also garners over our electronics and anything that has to do with speech and communication. So prepare for the almighty glitches. And for some reason, this Mercury retrograde has been hitting me like so hard, and Fluff can tell you because I've been like throwing him out of the house all week. Like, I've been like, why don't you just leave then? You're in my way. And then 10 minutes later, like, I'm sorry. Oh, the instabilities that it can bring. Alright. Saggy. Yeah, poor Fluff indeed, yes. He has to deal with the brunt of me being, like, overwhelmed and... yeah. Okay, Saggy. Messages for Sagittarius, please. Got that 9 of Pentacles there again. Page of Swords. All right. Okay, Page of Swords. I hear ya. Messages. Thoughts in our head. And the World card. Interesting. We're not working with the energies that are being presented to us, Sagittarius. All right. So maybe we're not finding value in what we do, and it's because we're not listening to the messages that come forward. We're not listening to the, how like when somebody's like, even a failure is just, there's no such thing as failure. It's just an attempt at learning. Like, I think that you're really being hard on yourself over the things that haven't come into fruition. You're viewing them as failures instead of viewing them. KJ, hi sis. Instead of viewing them for what they truly are, which sometimes we have to look outside of a situation. We have to look outside of a perception of something, a self-perception. We have to be like, so sometimes that's a good time to tell your friends, like, what do you think of this situation? What am I not seeing? Kind of shoot holes in my theory, is this, it's not so much trying to find what is correct, but maybe just getting a different frame of mind. That's a good time to communicate with friends or other people on an outside plane from what this involves. Because what I'm seeing is cycles. things happening in cycles, and we're not listening, we're not completing, we are completing the cycles, but we're not learning the lesson. So guess what, the universe sits there and goes, well, I guess we have to go do it again, because this person didn't do all the work and didn't learn the lesson. And that's kind of what I'm hearing is like, you're missing the lesson, you're missing the you're missing the memo. And there is a huge lesson in this. Clearly, there's something that it needs you to learn, or that needs to be learned, and you're just like, I'm not hitting it. And it's like, all right, well then we're gonna do it again. And that's what I'm saying. That's probably why you're like, why does this keep happening? If you are the Sagittarius that keeps saying that, it's probably because you're not opening your mind up to the greater lesson, and therefore you keep repeating it. These cycles keep happening. All right, and once again, balance. All right, so the lesson has something to do with balance. Whether it's balancing work and pleasure, money, time, efforts, things like that. So you're going to be destined to keep completing cycles until you learn the balancing act that actually allows you to get past these cycles. And that is definitely what I'm seeing here. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of clarifying real quick to see maybe what it is that you might be missing. And normally I try not to do too much of a deep dive because, like I said, I don't want you to I don't want your ego to come into play in universal lessons. All right, because the universe has a way of delivering it, and for you to learn it, that it is not going to give to me because it wants to give it to you. So let me just get that Page of Swords, heartbreak. Okay. Clarify that Page of Swords. So this could probably have to do with the way you balance passions, relationships, things like that. It doesn't always have to be, relationships with a romantic interest, but just things that you're passionate about. This could be friendships, partnerships of some sort. Yeah. So there is probably a Sagittarius that is like, why do relationships not work out for me? And you're not balancing a component of yourself. Okay. There is the big part of you in a relationship is the you. And you're destined, like, why do people keep cheating on me? Why does this keep happening? Why do I always attract these certain types of men or women or blah, blah, blah? The big thing is you. It is you. So what you put out there, if you're in that perpetual state of need all the time, I need a relationship, I need, the universe gives you more things to prove that you need. If you like, I'm broken, I'm a broken person, guess what the universe is going to do? It's going to give you more examples of how you're a broken person. All right, you need to learn how to talk to the universe. You need to learn how to talk to yourself. You need to learn how to put the good out in order to get the good in. And I know that it can sound very easy, that's easy in concept, but it can be difficult in execution. So when learning universal language and universal law, it's like, oh, that's so simple. I'm just going to say I want good things, but not realizing that you keep sending out the vibration of want. You keep saying want and you're sending out the vibration of want instead of saying I am, or it is, or so shall it be. It's giving, manifestation is literally giving it to God and saying it's going to happen the way it needs to happen for me. And I'm going to learn. I'm ready to learn. And that is a positive way of starting that journey. Love you, Lynn. Thank you all so much for coming in and hanging out on your Sunday evenings, Monday mornings. Because I know some people are across the pond. And I appreciate everybody who stuck by as I gave that big old rant about people who spend time trying to communicate with the Queen on ITC or spirit box devices and then use that for notoriety. I feel bad having as much of a rant as I did, but I felt like it needed to be said. All right, Capricorn. Capricorn. Monday afternoon, yeah. KJ catches me at the best times because I go late. I go live later on Sunday, so it's midday for her. All right, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So abundance, things to good fruition for you. Abundance with this. And materialistical grounding energy. Pentacles are all about earth energy, tangible energy. So that coming in abundance. Okay, so maybe we're not you have stuff coming in, you have prospects, but we're not managing it as well as we should because the King of Pentacles is in reverse. So maybe you've got a lot going on. You've got, there can be a sense of overwhelming and you're not able to manage it as much as you wish you could. With that Seven of Swords in the reverse, it's kind of like you need to pick and choose what battles you need to be a part of at this time. Because you can't rule your kingdom and everybody else's kingdom at the same time. That's a difficult task, Capricorn. And to tell a Capricorn that they can't do something makes them just want to do it all the more. So that's what I'm seeing here right now. Baltimore Sun. Love you, darling. Your new man is a Capricorn. Ah. And aren't you a Virgo, KJ? If my memory serves me correct. Yeah, tell me exactly. I'm the Capricorn. We're like I even put it on a Facebook. I was like, a Capricorn is a special breed of I will fuck you up type situation. It's that, and yeah. So KJ is the opposite of us, hun. She's the Virgo, and hers is a Capricorn. And I'm your Capricorn, and my Virgo's laying on the floor playing with his cat. I mean, they're compatible. Caps and Virgos are very compatible. It's just an energy of like you have to be understanding that for darn sure. But very compatible. They can usually be on the same page pretty easy. But me, I'm such a go-getter, and poor Fluff is like, hold on! And I'm like, no, we don't hold on here. Freedom. All right, so the most freeing thing to a Capricorn is having everything in proper alignment. All right, Capricorns love when everything's like all the bills are paid, everything's clean in the house, everything's organized, like nothing wants of them. Then a Capricorn's happy, right? Because they can do new stuff and involve themselves in new things and off and go do what they need to do. But also we also need to respect Capricorn ourselves in the sense that sometimes we need to let go of trying to control every damn thing. All right. Sometimes we need to free ourselves. We need to take that step back and say, this is my space. Get the fuck out of it for 10 minutes. I need to deal with me. All right. You need that freedom to say, no, I need me time. Okay. And that's definitely something I'm picking up here for the Cappies is, give yourself that emotional, mental, physical freedom to do things. Okay. Give yourself space. If you're overly crowded, you're overly overwhelmed. I know it can be difficult for us to speak that and say I'm overwhelmed, like, because sometimes it's literally all we can say is I'm overwhelmed, and our partners and people want to know, like, well, what's overwhelming you? And it's like everything. Like, we start speaking in very, very small sentences because it's like so much is going on in our head, and we're having conversations in our head and situations in our head going and going and going, that it's like, what, I can only say little chunks of things. So just free yourself. Just be like, what, I'm not dealing with it right now. Give yourself 30 minutes, an hour, a day, whatever. And then just sit in a perpetual state of nothing sometimes, go watch go watch a nonsense movie. Go watch something that'll make you laugh. Drink some water, make yourself some tea. Just put the bills down for a second, put the micromanaging down for a second and be like, what will be, will be. And give yourself that freedom of space. And that is what I'm seeing for you, Capricorn. Next is our Aquarian gang. Some messages for Aquarius. Monica Geller. all of that Aquarian energy flowing. Somebody once told me, like, if you don't believe in the zodiac and tarot cards, it's probably because you also think Aquariuses are water signs. And I probably laughed harder at that than I should have, because there's a lot of people that when they say, like, oh, I've heard other tarot readers that are like, it's because Aquarians and their water energy. And I'm like, Aquariuses are air signs. They're not water signs. They're air signs. They're very much they're very, and when I say air, it's more of the mind. Air signs are very, they deal a lot with more of the mental components and the thoughts and stuff like that. They can be very integral thought process people. And that's like when people are like, but aqua, water. And I was like, yeah, balance, stuff like that. But, they're not a water sign. They don't always have that intuition. And I think a lot of times Aquariuses, and I love Aquariuses, okay, so don't get it twisted, but I think Aquariuses want to have more intuition than they do, but they are very good with words, okay? When they say something, most Aquariuses, when they speak on something, you will understand their wording really well. It will communicate into your mind pretty well. So it can sound a lot more intuitive based. You could be like, they're really reading me really well, and it's because they're just really good with the mental component and the mental processing. So I think that's sometimes where we can get a little bit twisted on those. And I ain't gonna lie, they strange. I'm not, KJ's right, they're a different breed. I'm related to an Aquarius, so I get it. Okay, oh, look at that. Bright new beginnings. You got options. Let's see, with the 7 of Cups, with all those options, not knowing, sometimes we don't know what to choose, but either way, whatever you choose is going to be a beautiful, bright beginning for you. So options are coming. Okay, let's see what we got here. 2 came out. We're going to take them. All right, I've got the 4 of Wands and the Tower card. Okay, so there might be an Aquarius that has experienced, a matrimony that fell apart, or a relationship that fell apart. And you might be opening yourself, you should be opening yourself up to the options, because now is the time for you to have that rebirth and that restart. And I think you're kind of ignoring it. You might feel, there might be an Aquarius out there that's like, I'm too old to start anew. I'm too set in my ways to start anew. I don't want to start anew. But you know what? When cycles end, a new one has to begin, whether you're in line for it or not. And there is an Aquarius out there with some stubborn ass energy right now. So let me go ahead and get this Oracle card out. Let's see if this kind of helps us pull that energy together. And Aquarians, they can get mad easy too. Aquariuses like to, they can get emotional, and they're quick in their emotions. Like, they can go from 0 to 100 real fast. Risk. Okay, so you're afraid of risks. That's understandable, but it's also telling you to take the risk. Because if you don't take the risk, then guess what? Nothing can happen. You're worried about the bad, but nothing good can happen either. I mean, you can stay in the land of vanilla and to and fro all you want, and nothing good will happen. You'll be wasting your time and you'll be wasting your energy. But, if you actually jump and take the risk on something, Aquarius, you're going to find out that there might be something, there for you, and it might be a really beautiful thing, and you would have missed it if you didn't take the risks. So if there is an Aquarius out there that is like, I'm afraid to move onward from what I've always known, start taking one step at a time till you're ready to get to that edge and kind of just jump over, because you're going to find out that the edge it's not even very high. It's not even very distant. It's like you literally could probably just walk over it at that point. So that's what I'm seeing here for you, Aquarius. New things are coming. They're just waiting on you. All right. And last but not least, our wonderful Piscean gang. I'm reading your daughter. Okay. Yeah, she's got to take the risk. And it's difficult. It is difficult. And I would never tell someone to, leap without looking or anything like that. But if we prepare ourselves and we move that energy forward even one step at a time, that we find out that those gaps and jumps are not that bad. They're not that far. They're not that, the ground's not that far from us. So, but if you just sit there and you kind of avoid and push back, nothing changes. So Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. Alrighty. Messages for Pisces today. King of Swords. Alright. That strong, noble energy. I love me some King of Swords in the upright energy. Six of Pentacles. One more. 10 of Cups in the reverse. Okay. So I think that there is a Pisces out there, or several, that, I mean, just because the 10 of Cups is in the reverse does not mean that it's not on the board, right? It's right here. But maybe we're perceiving things, or we're being so stoic that we are not balancing ourselves mentally, because we're being so stoic with our thoughts. We're being so literal and so like, we're not allowing a lot of the emotion into it, that we're not balancing ourselves correctly. We're not being as nurturing to ourselves as we should be. And in that, we're not having that complete emotional fulfillment. We're getting so grounded in the literal that we forget to play a little bit. And that's what I'm seeing from a specific, hey there, it's either Luke or Becca. One of the two, or both. Yes, Omar is a Pisces too. How is everyone this evening? Hi guys. But that's what I'm seeing, is like you're being so stoic in that you're pulling your passion out of it. So like you can present yourself of like, I know how to do this, I'm good, blah blah blah. But when the passion's not in it, when it's like, have you ever had it where you came home from work and even though you're doing the job you love, you're like, you come home from work and you're like, it's not the same. Something has, dare I say, robbed the enjoyment out of it. And it's not that the enjoyment isn't there. It's on the board. It's just our perception, our mind has gone awry. It's gone in a bad place. It's not, it's something has occurred. We've had to harden ourselves quite a bit with that King of Swords energy, because that's that stoic, I say it as you need to hear it, not as you want to hear it type energy. It's more mentally sharpened, kind of on guard all the time. And being able to balance things, balance life and situations, it's really taken away the joy, and that's unfortunate. It happens though. It can happen though. And I see, like, even like, we'll use Omar for an example, in having to be so on guard and having to do things, such a way, right? It has to be this way so that, he lets the audience and his subscribers and everything have an enjoyable experience. But, are we over exhausting our Omar? Is he still enjoying it? And yes, he does still very much enjoy it, but he's constantly chasing the new and the new. And what happens when the new isn't there? Like when you've done it and done it and done it, like you start going to furthering extremes, you start having to be more creative, and it can be very exhausting when you're chasing that, and I love Omar. Omar is an amazing person, great brother. And I always tell him, like, God, just make sure you're doing it with love. Just make sure you're still doing it with the love and passion you've always had for it. And when you're still doing that, you're still in the game. Protection. Just make sure, like I said, protection is, making sure that you're guarding your heart, making sure that you are securing yourself in a mix amongst, all of this energy. If, when you're doing things out of, the ideologies of others, making sure that your heart is also protected in this, and that you're protecting those you care about. This is going out to specific Pisces right now, who's always in charge, always helping others, always trying to balance everything. But you know what, they need love too. And maybe they overextended their love. Maybe they overextended their generosities and things like that. Right now is a good time to really just make sure that you're protected, because people will they will become parasitical. They will leech on you. They will drain you. Put your shoulders back. Learn when to, turn off the devices. Learn when to accept a hug. Learn when to pray. Learn when is a good time. And prayer isn't always about a need concept. Prayer is, thank you for giving me the ability to get through today. And it's simple as that. Practice that as a mantra. Thank you for this moment that I am blessed to know these people so that I may learn from them. Even if they are people that you don't desire to have in your life, they are a blessing. And I'll tell you why. They are a blessing because they teach you boundaries. They teach you something. Everything serves you. Everything serves you, whether it's good or bad, whether it teaches you, what you don't want versus what you do. You know, flip the script and be like, thank you so much. You have a great life, and I pray for you to have a great life because you need it more than I do. That's this energy, all right? Don't give them what they want, give them what they need. Bad people need good because if you keep showing them that they have the reaction and the nonsensical bullshit that they try to perpetuate in lives, people do that. If you keep giving them that, then they'll keep feeding, right? But if you stop giving them that, you give them smiles and you're like, what's up? They can't eat. They can't get life force. They can't feed off of you. So protection, protect you. Okay? All right, my loveliest loves. That is all 12 signs of the zodiac. And I thank each and every single one of you. If you're participating in the chat, if you're not participating in the chat, I absolutely adore you. I love that you come here every Sunday night so that I can read for you. I appreciate being able to put out those messages. I love everybody who shares me out so that the messages can get further. I do this out of complete love, and complete gift to, my gifts aren't for me, they're for others. And being able to share that gift and have that gift be absorbed is a true blessing in and of itself. And I want you all to have the best weekend, the best love. Bobby's the AAP group says hi to you. Did you see? He's laying playing with the cat. Um, but go out there, give yourself the first hug of the day, give the second hug to the person that partners up with you, and then give love to everybody else because as long as you're giving it, you will receive it. And I love each and every one of you so, so much. You guys are the absolute best. You are the best of the best that YouTube has to offer. And thank you so much for letting me share this with you. I love each and every single one of you, and I wish you the best and blessed week to come. All right, take care, and I will see you around, guys. Much love.